Lesson 11, Unlocking the Big Grid. Well, the big news in Excel 2007 is we now have 1.1 million rows on each worksheet. But as soon as you open one of your old Excel files, you're going to discover that you're in something called compatibility mode with only 65,000 rows. Well, take a look at how when you upgrade that file, any legacy cell names that might have used to have been valid, ROI 97, are going to have to be changed. And finally, take a look at the brand new file formats available in Excel 2007. Well, just to give you a visual idea of how much larger the new Excel is, we now have 16,284 rows and 1,048,576 rows of data. 1.1 million rows, 16,000 columns. Multiplying that out, that's 17 billion cells, and that's just on sheet 1. 17 billion compares to 16.7 million in the old Excel. This is a 102,000% increase. It's amazing. You could start to write the names of all of your friends in column A. Now, let's write the name of every living person on Earth, and you'll only fill up 40% of sheet 1. And if somehow you do fill up sheet 1, it's easy to go to sheet 2. If this green block is the new Excel 2007 worksheet, this tiny little yellow block is the relative size of the old Excel grid. I mean, how can you possibly have lived to be that constrained in such a small worksheet? We now have all of this extra space. Here on the sheet, I show my new favorite cell, XFD 1048576. As soon as I opened Excel 2007, that's the first place I went. I wanted to see that brand new cell. Well, let's go open up one of our old files here, Lesson 11. Now, this is a file that was created in my old Excel. So in Excel 2003, I'm going to hit End down here to get to the end of the data, and then End down again. Hey, wait a second. The end of the spreadsheet is 65,536. What's up with this? I just paid to upgrade, and they don't have 1.1 million rows. This is false advertising. What's going on? Oh, well, it turns out that we're in compatibility mode. Because this Excel document was created in Excel 2003, they assume I might be sending it back to Excel 2003, and so they don't unlock the extra rows. If I hit End right, column IV, which is the old last column, is the column that I see. Well, we have a couple of strategies here. On the Office button, they give us a Convert option. The Convert option will take this file, save it as a new Excel 2007 file format, but then the part I don't necessarily like, they delete the XLS version. I guess this is good because now we only have one version of the file. However, in my office, I still have a computer that created files in XLS, and I would frankly like to be able to see the 1.1 million rows on this computer, but I'd like the original version to still be out on the network so I can open it on the other computer. Well, let's go ahead and go through the convert process here. Ask for a name. I'll click Save. Okay, now here's one interesting thing. Think about the old Excel. We only had columns out to column IV, so it's very possible that we could have had a range name such as ROI 2007. Well, in the new Excel, since we have columns out to XFD, there's a cell called ROI 2007. During the convert process, it goes through and finds all of these cell names that used to be valid that are now cell addresses, and it tells us that it's going to update the name to underscore ROI 2007. Here's another one. I had tax 97 as a range. It's now underscore tax 97. It's converted the file successfully. In order to get the extra rows, we have to close and reopen the workbook. It nicely does that for us when we just click Yes. All right, so now when I press End down, I now have 1048576. Well, while we're talking about the new style file formats, it's actually a bit confusing in that they've given us 3 new file formats. In the past, Excel files, XLS files, were always stored in a binary format. The danger with a binary format is that if a few bits became corrupted, the whole file was corrupted and you'd lose all the data. They now have a new version that stores data in something called XLM. XLM files are frankly just text files formatted with certain tags. And they give us two different versions for saving XLM files. If we save it as an Excel workbook, the new default, we get an XLSX file, or a macro-enabled workbook is the exact same thing, but it's an XLSM file format. Frankly, XLSM is the file format that I use. I want the advantages of the new XLM file format, but I want to be able to run macros. Now, one strange thing that's happened since I've switched is I've had a few people come back to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? You sent me an XLSM file." I'm like, "Yeah." "Well, are there macros in here?" "No, there's not macros in here." "Well, why'd you save it as XLSM?" "Because that's the file format I use." "Well, I'm worried there's macros in here." Look, when you try and open the workbook, the message bar is going to tell you whether or not there's macros. Just because it has XLSM doesn't mean that there's macros inside. It just means that it has the ability to have macros. Just like every XLS file for the last 10 years has had the ability to have macros. Fact is, I write macros. 1 out of 5 files I create, I need to create a quick 2 or 3 line macro, so I'm going to use the XLSM file format all the time. I don't see why people get all upset because I use XLSM. The message bar still protects you from any macros. Don't be afraid of XLSM files. It's really just a convenient way to get files back and forth. But anyway, let's take a quick look inside one of these new XLM file formats. I have a folder here where I've saved a file in the new style format, lesson 004. Now, I want to see the file extension, so I need to go to the menu, but I really need to go to the real menu, not this pretend menu. So if we hit the Alt key in Windows Vista, we'll actually get the real menu back. We can go to Tools, Folder Options, and on the View tab, I'm going to turn off Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Click OK. Now I can see that this is, in fact, stored as an XLSX file. I'm going to right-click and rename and change the extension to be .zip. We'll get a warning saying that, hey, this may become unusable. Okay, I understand. But now I have a zip folder, and when I open this, I'll actually get to see all of the guts, all of the internal stuff inside of the workbook. And when we actually go look at the XML files, it's really just text with a variety of tags. We could very easily go through and find all of the data that was stored in the workbook. Now, this is an interesting development because it means that someone without Excel could actually literally come and just type an Excel document from scratch. Yeah, you would have to read the 400-page specification, and it's probably very complicated, and it's not something that I suggest that you're going to do. However, there will be companies out there that now can take data from their high-end systems and write it out as XLM version Excel files, and we'll see that coming online over the next couple of years. This is an open file format, and I applaud Microsoft for creating this file format. It's going to lead to some very cool things over time as people have the ability to get there. Now, going back to our document here, we need to rename this and take the .zip extension off, so that way it again becomes a regular Excel file that Excel can open. Well, there you have it. How to unlock the big grid, 1.1 million rows, 16,000 columns, although they're not there by default when you open the Excel 2003 file. I hope you find that helpful, and thanks for watching.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than Live Lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live Lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.